Hello friends, welcome to Book Breeze. Today we're going to talk about the book How to Be Disciplined by Sheldon Howe. It was a cold winter evening. David, who lived alone in a small apartment in Chicago, was tired of his life. His job was just okay, but deep down he felt like he wasn't achieving anything significant. He often wondered, what exactly did he want? One night, while scrolling on his mobile phone in bed, his eyes fell upon a book review. The book's name was How to Be Disciplined, and the author was Sheldon Howe. What a useless topic, he said to himself. But somewhere inside, he felt that this might be the very book he needed. He immediately ordered the book online. 3 days later, the book was in his hands. David thought, let's see why this book is so popular. He took the book to his balcony. A cool breeze was blowing and a cup of coffee was resting on his table. He opened the book and began reading the first chapter. Chapter 1. Set Clear Goals. The first chapter was titled Set Clear Goals. As soon as he read it, David felt as if someone was holding a mirror up to him. It read, "Establishing clear and achievable goals is fundamental to discipline. Goals provide direction and motivation, making it easier to stay focused and measure progress." David couldn't understand why he hadn't grasped this simple truth until now. He often used to daydream about big things like, one day I'll start my own company, or I'll become an expert in digital marketing. But he had never planned his goals in detail. He glanced at the next paragraph of the book. It said, "If you don't know where you're going, you will never get there." This one line shook him to the core. True, he thought. I always think that I have to do something, but I never know what to do. He closed the book and walked inside from the balcony. He chose the quietest corner of his room and sat down with his notebook. He decided that for the first time in his life, he would set some clear goals. The first lines he wrote were, "Focus on my fitness. Lose 10 kilograms in the next 6 months. Complete 3 advanced courses in digital marketing. Read 5 new books every month." After writing, he closed the notebook and felt a strange sense of relief. It wasn't going to be easy, but for the first time, he had written his goals down so clearly. The next day, when he woke up, he tried to start his first goal. He had set his alarm for 6 a.m., but when it rang, he immediately hit the snooze button. 5 more minutes, he told himself. He didn't realize when those 5 minutes turned into an hour. When his eyes opened, he looked at the wall clock. It was 7:30 a.m. Not today either, he said to himself in frustration. Then he remembered his book. He took it out and read the first page again. There was a line, "Failure is part of the process. Don't be discouraged by small setbacks. Focus on getting back on track." He smiled and said to himself, well, the book already explained this, no problem, I'll start tomorrow. That evening, he did one more thing. He put up a large chart on his room wall and wrote his goals on it. Next to them, he drew small boxes. Every time he completed a task, he would put a tick in the box. Slowly, over the next few days, he began to form the habit of waking up early. He went jogging in the park for the first time. Seeing the cool air and the people running in the park, he felt that he had to get serious about his life. Returning home, he read the next part of the book. It said, "Break your goals into smaller, manageable steps. A big goal can feel overwhelming, but smaller steps make it achievable." This is quite right, he thought. He divided his fitness goal into small tasks. Only 15 minutes of jogging the first week, 20 minutes the second week, then slowly 30 minutes. The first chapter of the book became like a guide for his life. He would read it and try to apply it to his life. But life is never that simple. One day his mother called. She asked, "Why haven't you called for the last 2 weeks? We were so worried here." David suddenly realized that he had become so engrossed in his goals that he had stopped talking to his family. He immediately called his mother back and listened carefully to her. He thought that perhaps setting clear goals didn't just mean career and fitness, but also balancing his relationships. He took out his notebook and wrote one more line: "Call my parents every week and spend time with them." In this way, David's life slowly began to change. Every night before sleeping, he would review his day. If he had missed a task, he would add it to the next day's list. The first chapter of the book had taught him that goals are not just for writing, they are for living. He learned that the goals had brought a direction to his life. But the story doesn't end here. David realized that this was just the beginning. Sheldon Howe's book's first chapter was just a glimpse. He still had the rest of the chapters to read and work on. "Now let's see how this book changes my life," he said to himself with a smile. Chapter 2. David had made significant progress on his first set of goals over the next few days. He felt like his life was slowly getting back on track. Many boxes on his wall chart were ticked, and every tick gave him a new surge of energy. He thought it was time to read the next chapter of the book. After dinner, he sat in the small corner of his apartment. The book was placed in front of him. He removed the cloth bookmark and turned the page. The second lesson was, develop a routine. As soon as he read it, he felt that this was the very thing that had always been his biggest weakness. His life was so disorganized that nothing ever went according to plan. Sometimes he would stay up late at night. Sometimes he would wake up late in the morning. Weekends were entirely wasted. The book stated, creating a consistent daily routine helps in building habits that reinforce discipline. A structured schedule minimizes distractions and promotes productivity by allocating specific times for tasks. David read every word of the book carefully. He realized that if he truly wanted to bring discipline into his life, he would have to adopt a strict routine. He told himself, making a routine doesn't mean life will become boring. It means I will learn to make good use of my time. He immediately picked up his notebook and wrote, wake up at 6 a.m. Exercise from 6:15 a.m. to 7 a.m. Breakfast by 7:30 a.m. Work time from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. 1 hour lunch break. Work again from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. In the evening, 1 hour for self-study, skill development, or reflection. Go to sleep by 10 p.m. Planning the routine was easy, but following it, David knew that was the hardest part. He thought, well, let's try starting tomorrow. The next morning, when his alarm rang at 6 a.m., he had the same feeling as the first day. He hit the snooze button again for a while. But then, he remembered that he couldn't return to his old habits. He quickly turned off the alarm and got out of bed. He set a timer on his phone and started exercising according to his routine. In the beginning, his body struggled to wake up. Every minute he felt like going back to sleep. But he remembered the part of the book that said, habits are hard to build initially, but consistency makes them easy over time. The first few days were a huge struggle for him. Sometimes he would sit at the breakfast table wondering if making a routine was the right decision. But as the days passed, he started enjoying the routine. The best effect of the routine was on his productivity. Now when he sat down to work, his full focus was on the task. He knew that he had already allocated a time slot for every piece of work, so he would get time to do everything properly. One day, his manager at the office told him, David, the amount of work you've done in the last week is probably more than anyone else. Are you all right? David smiled and said, Sir, I'm just getting a bit disciplined. In the evening, when he returned home, he realized that a routine wasn't just a way to manage time. It was also a means to improve life. He started reading new books in his free time. Every night before sleeping, he would review his daily schedule. But life wasn't so straightforward. One Sunday, his friend Marcus called. Hey, are you coming to watch a movie today? David felt confused. A movie meant missing his evening study time. But then he thought, a routine doesn't mean I have to stop enjoying my life. Taking a break sometimes is also important. He learned a new thing about himself. Routine does not mean strict rules, it means balance. Over the next few days, he made his routine more flexible. He added free time slots to his schedule. This was time when he could do anything: talk to family, hang out with friends, or just relax. The book had another interesting line: "A rigid routine can become a burden, but a flexible routine gives you the freedom to choose." He felt that the routine had made him a better person. His life now had a structure. Where he used to postpone every task until the last minute, he now completed his tasks on time. But the story doesn't end here. David realized that creating a routine was just the start of his journey. He still needed to take his habits to a deeper level. More lessons remained in the book. He promised himself that he would read, understand, and implement every lesson in his life. And with this hope, he gently closed the book, ready to move to the next chapter. Chapter 3. A few weeks had passed, and David felt quite comfortable with his routine. Waking up early, working out, and spending the day productively had become a part of his habit. But life is not always on a simple path. One day, he came home tired after office and thought he would rest for a bit. He turned on the TV, and without realizing it, he wasted 3 hours watching a series. When he looked at his wall chart that night, he felt ashamed. He said to himself, "Everything was going so well, and today I've returned to my old habits." That same night, he took out the book and turned to the next chapter. The third lesson was called Embrace Self-Control. The very first line of the book shook him inside. It read, "Self-control is essential to avoid temptation and distraction. Resisting short-term pleasures in favor of long-term goals is the foundation of disciplined living." David said to himself, "This is my biggest problem. I always chase short-term pleasure, whether it's scrolling social media for hours or doing anything that goes against my bigger goals." The book had another interesting point. Distractions are everywhere, and they often disguise themselves as harmless breaks, but every small temptation adds up to derail your progress. The very next day, David resolved to bring self-control into his life. He first identified his biggest distraction, his mobile phone. He deleted all unnecessary apps from his phone and set a screen time limit. He decided he would check social media only once a day and only for 15 minutes. Doing this was very difficult for him on the first day. Many times he felt like picking up his phone and opening Instagram, but he stopped himself. The book said, "Self-control is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes." This line became his guide. He realized that bringing self-control didn't mean isolating himself from everything. It meant understanding his priorities and learning to say no to what went against his goals. A few days later, another challenge came up. On a Saturday evening, his friends called him for a party. He knew that if he went, the whole night would be spent partying, and there would be no chance of waking up to work out the next morning. He asked himself, should I go, or should I focus on my long-term goals? Another line from the book came to mind. Every time you resist a temptation, you take one step closer to becoming the person you want to be. David finally decided not to go to the party. He apologized to his friends and explained that he was working on his life right now. Although it was not easy for him, deep down he also felt that his friends might now call him boring. But the next morning, when he woke up on time and followed his routine, he felt proud of his victory. One evening, as he was reading the book, he saw written, "Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most." He realized that self-control was necessary not just for big things, but for small habits too. He decided that he would implement it in every small aspect of his life. For example, he had developed a habit of eating sweets after lunch in the office, and he decided to quit it. The first time he saw his favorite chocolate cake and told himself, "No, this goes against my fitness goal," he realized how difficult but necessary self-control was. The book further advised, remove things from your environment that trigger temptation. David internalized this advice. He started keeping everything in front of him that reminded him of his bigger goals, his notebook, the chart on the wall, and his own journey. All these became his motivators. Slowly, his power to control his desires began to grow. Now, whenever he saw a distraction, he would ask himself one question: will this take me closer to my bigger goals or further away? A few weeks later, another challenge came up at his office. The company gave him a new project that required him to work late into the night. Earlier, in such situations, he would always find excuses to postpone the project. But now he used self-control to manage his time. He changed his routine slightly so that his other habits could be maintained alongside the project. David realized that self-control was not just for ignoring distractions, it was also necessary for handling himself better in difficult situations. This lesson in the book had opened another door in his life. He felt that those who learned to control their small desires were the ones who could achieve big things. And in this way, David decided to take his journey further. He told himself, "This is just the beginning. I can't wait to see how much more this book will teach me." The next night, he gently closed the book, ready to move to the next chapter. Chapter 4. David's life was slowly changing. He had made the lessons of routine and self-control a part of his life. Every day he had a new energy and motivation within him. But still, something bothered him. Sometimes, when he worked, his mind would wander. He would be working on one thing, and suddenly he would recall an old memory or worry about the future would run through his mind. Sometimes he would worry about what would happen if his plans didn't work out, or sometimes he felt like he was wasting time thinking about his past mistakes. One day, as he sat on the balcony of his apartment in the evening, he said to himself, "I've worked a lot on discipline and self-control, but why does my attention keep wandering?" He felt that this might be the right time to learn the next lesson. He took out the book and turned to the next chapter. The fourth lesson was named Practice Mindfulness. The book stated, "Mindfulness helps in maintaining focus and reducing anxiety. By being present in the moment, individuals can better manage their thoughts and emotions, leading to improved decision-making and productivity." David started reading this lesson and felt that this could be the answer to his life's biggest problem. He thought, "I often either live in the past or get lost in the worry of the future, but maybe I am failing to live in the present moment." Another line in the book caught his attention. "Your mind is like a restless monkey, always jumping from one thought to another. Mindfulness is the practice of gently bringing it back to the present." David immediately decided to implement this lesson in his life. The next morning, after finishing his workout, he started a new practice. He looked up on the internet how to do mindfulness meditation. He chose a quiet spot on his balcony, closed his eyes, and started taking deep breaths. For the first few minutes, his mind raced in every direction, sometimes worrying about office work, sometimes remembering an old quarrel. But he told himself, "Let whatever thoughts come, come, but I will focus on my breath." Slowly, he felt that his thoughts were slowing down. As he took deeper breaths, his mind became calmer. For the first time, he felt like he was controlling his mind. The book stated, "Mindfulness is not about stopping thoughts. It's about watching them without judgment and gently bringing your attention back to the present." He made this practice a part of his daily routine. Every morning and night before sleeping, he would meditate for 10 minutes. Its effect began to show on his entire life. When he worked in the office, his focus was now better than before. If his attention wandered, he would take a few deep breaths and prepare himself to focus back on the work. One day, he got a big project at the office. The team lead told everyone that this work would be very difficult and the deadline was tight. David's team members got worried.
but he kept himself calm. He used his mindfulness practice. While others were panicking and talking aimlessly, David quietly made a plan. He divided his part of the work into small sections and set a task for each day. Seeing his calm and organized approach, the team lead praised him. He recalled another line from the book. Mindfulness not only helps you stay calm under pressure, but also helps in clarifying your thoughts and making better decisions. Mindfulness also had an effect on his personal life. Earlier, when he was with friends, his attention was often somewhere else. But now he was fully present in every conversation. He realized that when you give your full attention to your loved ones, relationships also strengthen. One day, he called his mother. While she was talking, he promised himself that he would listen carefully to every word. Earlier, where he would just say yes, okay on the phone and end the conversation, now he would respond to her words and try to understand her feelings. The biggest impact of mindfulness was on his worry and stress. Earlier, he would get upset over small things, but now, whenever he felt stressed, he would take a deep breath and remind himself, I am in this moment. What is now is the only truth. Everything else is a game of my mind. The book had one more line that he wrote and pasted on the wall of his workspace. The present moment is the only place where life truly exists. Learn to live in it. Slowly, mindfulness became a part of his life. He felt that one practice had brought depth to his thoughts, work, and relationships. Now he lived every day with open eyes and an open heart. David understood that mindfulness was not just limited to meditation. It could be present in every moment, when you were eating, working, or talking to someone. One evening, as he sat on the balcony, he looked up at the sky. The sun was setting, and the clouds had turned a light orange color. He fully felt that moment. Earlier, he used to ignore these small things, but now he realized that these were the moments that made life beautiful. This lesson in the book had completely changed his way of thinking. He said to himself, if I learn to live every moment mindfully, perhaps every challenge in life will become easier. And with this promise, he gently closed the book for the next chapter.
Chapter 5. David's life was slowly getting on track. With the help of the lessons of mindfulness, self-control, and routine, he felt much more productive and peaceful than before. But life is not always the same. Sometimes, even when doing everything right, failure knocks on the door. David had a big project at the office. It was his first major responsibility. He had planned everything perfectly. He paid attention to every small detail, discussed with his team members, and was fully confident of finishing the work on time. But as the deadline approached, things started going wrong. Some team members started missing their deadlines, and David's own work started falling behind. He felt a pressure many times greater than the effort he put in. On the day of the deadline, the project remained incomplete. His manager called him to his office and expressed disappointment. David was very angry at himself. He thought, I worked so hard, yet I failed. Maybe I'm not meant for this job. That evening, he came home and sat on the balcony. It felt as if all his hard work had been wasted. He picked up the book and went to the next chapter. The fifth lesson was called Learn from Failures. The first line itself forced David to think. Failure is not the end. It's a stepping stone to success. Discipline involves learning from setbacks rather than being discouraged by them. The book continued. Every failure carries a lesson. It's up to you to find it and use it to grow stronger. David closed the book for a moment and thought, can I learn from my failure? Is this truly an opportunity to better myself? For the next few days, he carefully reviewed his project. He thought about what had gone wrong. He found that he had overlooked some small mistakes.
For example, he had forgotten to have regular check-ins with the team and had tried to handle too much work himself instead of delegating it properly. The book said, "Failures often happen because of overlooked details. Reflect on your mistakes, not to blame yourself, but to improve." David accepted his mistakes. He promised himself that next time he would prepare better. But at the same time, he reminded himself that failing in one project did not question his entire capability. He repeated another line written in the book to motivate himself. "Failure is a detour, not a dead end. It's a chance to refine your strategy and come back stronger." The following week, another project came up at the office. David immediately started implementing the lessons he had learned from his mistakes. He maintained better communication with the team and resolved every small problem early on. Slowly, he realized that instead of fearing failure, he should see it as a challenge. He felt that behind every failure there was a hidden lesson. Another incident gave him a deeper understanding of this lesson. For the past few weeks, he had been following his habit of waking up early. But one day, due to staying up late, he failed to wake up in the morning. He thought, "Am I returning to my old habits again?" Earlier, he would have blamed himself, but now he adopted the book's advice. He told himself, "It's just one day. I can get back to my routine from tomorrow." The book stated, "Discipline is not about being perfect every day. It's about bouncing back after setbacks." The next day, he made a full effort to wake up when the alarm rang and got back on track with his routine. David realized that the best way to deal with failure was to accept it, learn from it, and move forward. He added a new section to his chart, Lessons Learned. Every time he failed at something, he would write down what he had learned from that experience. A few weeks later, David's manager called him. He said, "David, there has been a tremendous improvement in your work. The project you failed in taught you a lot, and that learning is evident in all your work." David smiled. He felt that failure was strengthening him instead of breaking him. The book had one more point. Resilience is built through failures. This lesson completely changed David's thinking. Now, whenever he faced failure in any work, instead of panicking or getting disappointed, he would ask himself, "What did I learn from this?" One day, as he sat in his apartment, he remembered his old friends, the ones who sometimes called him a loser when he failed at something. But now he knew that failure was not a weakness. He said to himself, "Failing is necessary. Without failing, I would never learn." That evening, he opened the book again. He knew that the next chapter would hold something special for him too. But this time, before closing the book, he read that page one last time, which kept reminding him, "Failure is just another step on the path to success. Keep stepping forward." And he promised himself that he would embrace every failure and move forward by learning from it.
Chapter 6. David had now made 5 lessons from the book a part of his life. Every new lesson made his thinking better. He had seen a significant change in himself. The man who used to blame himself for every small failure had now taught himself that falling is essential, and getting up after falling is even more important. But his journey was not over yet. The last chapter of the book increased his curiosity. He opened the book again. The 6th and final lesson was, "Consistency is key." This was the word that mattered the most in his life now. He realized that all his efforts, whether setting his goals, developing a routine, practicing mindfulness, or learning from failures, everything worked only if he persisted. The book stated, "One-time effort changes nothing. The real change comes when we take small steps every day and continue to do them." David thought that consistency had been the most difficult thing for him. Many times, he would work hard for a day and then give up the next. Many times, he would make a plan but fail to follow it. He understood that perhaps this was why many of his dreams had remained incomplete. The book said,
Motivation gets you started, but consistency keeps you going. Even on days when you don't feel like it, showing up matters the most. David took a deep breath. He understood that consistency was a habit, and to build it, he would have to work hard every day. He promised himself that now he would take a step every day, small as it might be. The next day, he made his routine even stricter. Along with waking up early, he gave a new form to his daily planning and dedication. He decided that he would work on his fitness for 30 minutes every day, no matter how tired he was. He also created a timetable for his work so he wouldn't miss any deadlines. In the beginning, it was not easy. Many times after the morning alarm rang, he would lie in bed. Many times while getting ready for a workout, excuses would come to his mind. But every time, he reminded himself, consistency is most important. If I give up today, it will become even more difficult tomorrow. Slowly, he realized that these small steps were taking him in a new direction. One day, his manager at the office gave him a big project. This was the same kind of project he had failed in a few months ago. But this time, instead of fear, he had confidence within him. He told himself, "This time, I will not only make my plan, but also follow it consistently." David started the work by dividing it into small sections. He held regular meetings with his team and took feedback on everyone's work. He created a timetable for himself and completed every task on time. Whenever his attention wandered or he felt tired, he would take a deep breath and say to himself, "Just one more step, just one more effort." Slowly, his work started finishing on time and without any major mistakes. His team members were also inspired by his consistency. On the day of the deadline, the project was complete, and his manager couldn't stop praising his hard work and leadership. David realized that the effect of consistency was not limited to his work. It was reflected in every aspect of his life. He continued to work on his fitness in the same way. Earlier, where he would only exercise for a few days and then quit, now he dedicated 30 minutes to himself every day. His body and mind both felt stronger and more energized than before. David saw that consistency was effective not only in big things, but also in small habits. He also decided that he would read a book every night before sleeping, even if it was just one page. One day, when he went to meet his old friends, they said, "You've changed a lot, David. Earlier, you used to worry about every small thing, and now it seems like you can handle everything." David smiled and said, "This change happened slowly. I just took a small step every day and maintained consistency." He told his friends about the lessons in the book. He said, "Consistency means you keep a promise to yourself every day. It's not necessary to be perfect every day. It's only necessary that you keep trying every day." That night, when he returned home, he read the last page of the book. It said, "Discipline is not the goal, it's the journey. Keep going, and you will find that success becomes a habit, not a destination." David closed the book. He felt that his life had now changed, but he also understood that this journey would never end. Every day would bring a new challenge, a new lesson, and a new opportunity to better himself. He placed the book on his table and looked out the window. The moonlight was gently illuminating his room. He took a deep breath and promised himself that he would never leave this journey, because now he knew that true happiness was not in reaching a destination, but in living that journey with complete honesty and hard work. And David's story doesn't end here. This was just a new beginning. So, friends, this was our book summary for today from Book Breeze. Do let us know how you liked it by commenting. And thank you for listening to the summary until the end.